Now at 4:30, police in Pasadena make a deadly discovery on the steps of a Goodwill. A man found dead in a donation basket. Assignment editor Mike Rogers is at the desk with what police are saying this afternoon. Mike, this is a strange one.
It is really weird, Amy. They are calling the death suspicious in nature. You can imagine why. A man wrapped in a blanket inside of a donation bin out back of a Goodwill. Certainly some cause for concern this afternoon in Pasadena. We'll show you the video here. This all happening early today, or around 11 o'clock this morning is when police originally got that call. They got out here after the employees discovered the man's body inside of that bin there. Now, Pasadena police tell me they are deeming this suspicious. They wouldn't go into any further detail about why it is suspicious, other than the fact that his body was wrapped in a blanket and dumped in a bin there for donations at the Goodwill. Now, they do know that he is homeless, apparently. They say his last known address was in the LA area somewhere, so they have an ID on him. They say he was born in 1994, which would make him about 30 years old, depending on the month. How he ended up there, who may have put them there, if somebody put him there, is all unclear tonight. You can see the forensics teams from Pasadena Police Department are there on scene trying to sort all of this out, Amy, but Pasadena police tell me the medical examiner just came and took the body. Of course, now they will be the ones to determine how the man died.
Wow. Still so many questions, Mike. Thank you.
All right. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High. And this story is out of Pasadena, California, and it's giving me Kendrick Johnson vibes. I think that's the young man who was found wrapped in a mattress, stuffed with newspaper, with all his organs missing, in a high school gym some time back. And this man has been identified as 31-year-old Chavez Adams, who, according to his family, was not the transit homeless man that the news described. Now, his sister has taken to social media, and I'm going to play you what she had to say, but it discounts the narrative that police are saying. One article says that the body was found at 11 a.m. at the Goodwill on last Tuesday, July the 11th. They responded to the scene with reports of the medical examiner saying that the place of death was on a sidewalk. But as you heard, the body was discovered wrapped in a tarp dumped inside a donation bin. Now, the cause of death is listed as deferred, but the police said that drugs are suspected to have played a role. Now, my question is, how do they suspect that if the cause of death is listed as deferred? Now, also, you're going to learn what the police are not telling you is not only was his body wrapped in a tarp, wrapped up, but there was a rope tied around his feet, and according to his sister, tied around his neck area. So even if drugs were involved, how could he tie himself up with a rope, tie himself around the neck with a rope, wrap him up in a tarp, and dump his own self into the bin? That is what is very, very suspicious, but police neglected to say that in this article. And so with that being said, I am going to give you what his sister, Shavana Adams, had to say in a social media post of her own.
I really didn't want to make this video. I'm trying to get through it. But the reason why I feel like I have no choice but to speak up is because the way my brother's death is being portrayed is not the way that it went down, we believe. My brother was found dead, wrapped in a tarp with rope around his ankles and underneath his neck. The media and the police are trying to make it as if this is an overdose on a transient, or in other words, a homeless man. If that were the case, he would not have been wrapped in tarp with rope around his ankles and underneath his neck. At this moment, we do not have an official cause of his death. Regardless if drugs were in play of this or not, he still could have not wrapped himself up and roped himself and put himself inside of a Goodwill donation bin. My brother lived with me and my mom until he was an adult. And after we relocated to Las Vegas, my brother stayed behind to raise his kids with his kids' mom and his 2 children, and he lived with her. Once they broke up, he lived with another woman, and recently she kicked him out, which ultimately resulted into his death.
All right, so now there you see his sister giving a more personal narrative of who her brother was, saying that he was not homeless. He was not a transient just living on the streets. He decided to stay back when they relocated to Las Vegas. He just stayed in Pasadena to help raise his 2 children. Of course, sometimes relationships don't work out. He got involved with another woman, started living with her, and then this relationship didn't work out, and that led to him being, I guess, in the position that he was in. But if you look at this picture, this does not look like the picture of someone who is homeless, doing really bad on drugs, and, would be the subject of, just a man found, dead in a bin in the trash, man. And once again, as the sister said, even if drugs were involved, there is no way that he can wrap himself up in rope, wrap himself up in a tarp, and then dump himself in a donation bin. So that is definitely something that is beyond suspicious. That is almost, homicidal. This is a criminal case, not a case where you just, I can see if he was just found laying there, that would be a different story. But, he definitely has some help getting there. Now, also, once again, police are not focusing on this right here. This is the location of where he was found, minus, all of the debris from the police. And as you see there, it lets people know that, cameras are on the building. And you can actually see the camera at the top of the building doing a news clip. So they are letting people know that you are on camera. So whoever did this is definitely on camera. Why not the police reviewing that camera footage? Once again, he was found on a Tuesday. That means Goodwill was open that Monday, and he was found 11 a.m. the next day. Goodwill, that donation bin, they empty it every day. And so he had to be there between certain times, so they can easily go back to that camera footage. He probably had to be back then. Where's the car that backed it in and dumped his body there and the like? So there's a lot of things that are suspicious to this story. According to more reports, another body was found outside of a retail store, I think the next day. And so there's not been a lot of focus on that as well. So it looks like, there's a pattern of some maybe a serial unaliver that's out there. But this one definitely seems strange. Once again, it reminds me of our brother Kendrick Johnson, a high school student who was found, wrapped up in a carpet with his organs missing in a high school, and they said he unalived himself. So there's no way that, that could possibly happen. And once again, there's no way that our brother Chavez could have did this to himself. So that is something that, we will keep a close eye on and see if any further developments occur with this story. In the meantime, the family has set up this GoFundMe. Man found at Goodwill, Chavez Adams, you see there, put together by his sister, Shavonna Adams. She describes how he was found, but also said that he was a devoted father, a cherished son, and a loyal brother. He was a man full of love, laughter, and light, someone whose presence lifted everyone around him. He leaves behind 2 children and a family struggling to make sense of this unimaginable loss. They are asking for help. to give Chavez a proper farewell and to support his children in the days ahead. Your donations will go directly toward funeral expenses, memorial arrangements, and care for his children. And so you see that link there. I want to put the link also in the chat or in the description box. So once again, we want to, offer condolences and sincere prayers and thoughts to, the young brother, Chavez Adams. And once again, peace and comfort to his family. And, shout out to the Trey King show, in which I got the video of his sister, her post on it, fair use. I'm using that in fair use than commentary purposes. So, thank for that brother for bringing light to this story and bringing more insight into the story of another Black man found in America under suspicious circumstances with rope involved. And so y'all let me know what y'all think about this story in the comments. Once again, I thank everyone for chiming in, liking this channel, subscribing to this channel, sending the stories as well. I certainly appreciate all of the support. And as always, peace and blessings. Thank y'all for watching. Have a blessed day.